So hi guys and welcome back. Today I have something really nice on my bench. It is something which I wanted to get on my bench for quite some time. What is it? That's the RF power meter by ImmersionRC, the radio frequency power meter. So what does that do? It is a very basic device. Basically, it lets you measure the RF power in our well-known milliwatts or even in dB of any device which you connect here to this SMA adapter. So for example, with that you can measure the true output power of your 5.8 GHz transmitter, the output power of your radio, but there are also other use cases. And I will also cover in this video why you would want to do this anyways, because I have this 25 milliwatts 5.8 gigahertz transmitter, so I already know that's 25 milliwatts. Why should I want to measure it again? I will give you an answer to this question in just a moment, but first let's take a closer look at that. So this is your basic power meter here. As I told you, here you simply connect the power source which you want to measure, and on this side you can simply use USB. This is just for powering this device, so there is no further functionality. While there is, you can also flash the firmware, but mainly it is for powering. Then we have here 3 buttons which are used to configure this device, and you can, alternatively to USB, you can also power it directly through 6 to 16 volts. So let's take a look at this in action. I will just power it through USB here. I have prepared this already, so I will simply plug this in here. And as you can see, it just powered up, and we will go through the manuals, and through that I will explain it to you some more before we go into the question, why do I really need this? Well, basically you see here the basic menu. It says, okay, which frequency are we using? Do we use an attenuator or not? I will go into that in a second of why you need this. And what is the power level measured currently? Of course it is 0 because we have nothing attached here. But first things first, the frequency up there. You can see it is set to 5.8 gigahertz, which will let you measure all our beloved video transmitters which run at this frequency. But you can also measure, for example, your radio, which will use 2.4 gigahertz. Or maybe you want to use video at 1.2 gigahertz, which is also a frequency which is quite often used for longer range. Also that is possible here. Or maybe your UHF system at 900 megahertz, 868 megahertz, or even 433 megahertz. So these are all frequencies which are commonly used for UHF systems. Maybe you even want to measure your old toy radio, which runs at 72 megahertz, or your old regular radio, which runs at 35 megahertz. So all of that is possible through this little device. So what's the next thing down here? This attenuator. This is something which is quite simple. So this device can measure power strengths of -50 to 0 dB. What does that mean? If you here connect a video transmitter directly, it will not have -dB, but dB in the plus range. So you do need this attenuator. This is this part here, to simply weaken the signal of your video transmitter in order to measure it properly and to not damage this RF power meter. So basically you just have to remember, if you use a video transmitter to measure here things here directly or any other active RF source, use this attenuator. This attenuator will be good up to 600 to 800 milliwatt senders, transmitters. So it covers the whole range of our favorite video transmitters from 25 milliwatts up to 800 or even 1 watt. For anything above that, you can get this attenuator, which is a 30 dB attenuator, at even higher values, for example a 50 dB attenuator. So for anything active you need to plug that in, and then on the other side you simply plug in your power, your RF power source, which can be your video transmitter. Let's quickly go through the menus here. So you can here simply set, okay, do you use an attenuator because you want to measure an active RF source or not, and of course which attenuator. You can even do some fine configuration of this attenuator if you know it. The contrast is just for the display. And you can say here with the mode, peak or average, depending on what you want to measure, you want to choose either of both. And should milliwatts be displayed or the dB? I choose milliwatts because this is more common. So it's as simple as that. That was it actually for this simple but powerful device. So I've promised you to give you some reasons of why you would want to use that, or well, rather of why I love, or I'm really looking forward to use that. So let's take for example this little 25 ET25. So here we are. Let's take for example a look at this small ET25 video transmitter from EA Shine. You know this very well. I used it for my antenna tests and so on in my previous videos, and well, I really like it. So what can we do here? I have hooked it up here to this RF power meter. I have also set everything here correctly. I'm using 5.8 GHz because this is a 5.8 GHz video transmitter, and I'm using the attenuator here because I'm measuring an active RF source. So let's plug that in at my default channel, which is in this case I think band E and channel 4, and see what we get. So now it's plugged in. And well, there's something interesting here. You can see that this little guy, actually this 25 milliwatt transmitter on this channel, which is all, of course already a hint for you of what is to come, puts out not 25 milliwatts, but around 34 milliwatts. You might wonder about two things. One thing, why is this value going down? This is very easily explained. This has just been plugged in. This is heating up now. You know, these video transmitters get very hot, and only at its, well, I would say, well heated up temperature, the true power level will be shown here, which is still, so around 33 milliwatts for this 25 milliwatts transmitter. So on this band and channel, actually the power levels which are provided are much higher than specified. So I am currently for this configuration at one of the strongest channels of this video transmitter, which is in this case the band E and frequent and the channel 4. And you can see it is around 32 milliwatts, and it will stay around this value for this channel. If I now change the channel by simply pushing the button here, you can see, wow, so I have just changed to channel 5 of the band E, and well, actually the power just dropped considerably to 14 milliwatts. So let's change this channel again. We are here at 13 milliwatts for the channel 6. Let's go to channel 7. And we are still at 13 milliwatts. Channel 8 of band E give us again 13 milliwatts. Channel 1 of band E, and we are up there at 25 milliwatts. Channel 2 of band E 27 milliwatts, channel 3 of band E 29 milliwatts, and back to channel 4, and we are back to our close to 32 milliwatts. So this is actually something which is true for most video transmitters out there. Yes, they are specified at a specific strength, for example 25 milliwatts, but that does not mean that they will provide this strength at all channels. So depending on band and channel, the actual output strength will vary a lot. So what does this tell you? Well, this little gadget will help you to find the best channel for your video transmitter, where it actually outputs the most power. This is a good thing. A second good thing, especially for you, but also for me as a reviewer, is the strong channels of a video transmitter will usually be the same for all of the video transmitters. So with that device, I can now start measuring different video transmitters just for you, and then you will have an overview of what the strong and the weak channels for your video transmitter, if you happen to have the same, are. And well, that lets you just choose the channel which you want, even without buying this nice device. So this is one reason why I really like this. I can now give you a great picture of your video transmitters and even better reviews for you. And there is another great thing which you can do with this, which I have set up here for you, which is you can test your antennas. So what you see here is my 25 milliwatts transmitter with a simple whip antenna and another simple rubber ducky whip antenna connected to this device, and it shows you the signal strength at which this is received. Here it is important to know that this goes from -50, which is the least signal, the smallest signal this can actually measure, up to 0, which is the strongest signal. What you can see here is, okay, these two antennas have obviously straight line of sight to each other's, which results in a pretty good signal. So as I said, 0 is the most which can be measured. We are here at -15. A fun experiment is if I simply shield these two antennas with my hand, you can actually see how the received power goes down for the power meter, down to -40, -36. If I remove the hand again, it's unshielded, and we again have full signal. So how do you use this? Actually, what you want to do is set up your power meter just as I did here, but go away with your antenna until this is at around -25 dB, which is just the middle of the measurable range of this RF power meter. And then you simply take this antenna, you leave the distance as it is, probably somewhere on the outside where you don't have any reflections, and just exchange this antenna for other antennas, and then you can see how much better or worse the other antennas will perform. So what this does provide me with is a way to really scientifically compare antennas to each other, which I will do in several follow-up videos, where I then can really tell you, okay, how much better are these, for example, Fat Sharks really compared to cheap China antennas, to maybe some better antennas from Surveil Zone, Banggood or whatever. I can then really give you a value of it. For you yourself, maybe you even build your own antennas, and this device will be great for this as well, because you will be able to really find out how good are your antennas. So these are two very strong use cases, in my opinion, for the ImmersionRC power meter. I really like this small tool. I will use it a lot in future videos to simply show you how good are these video transmitters, how good are they at different channels and bands, and of course to compare antennas to each other, which is also great for you to know, because this will tell you if you would like to buy this antenna or if you should buy this antenna or not. Well, I do hope you liked this review, this initial review of the ImmersionRC RF power meter. I like it a lot. If you like this video, if you like my channel, please leave a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I am looking forward to see you next time.